Welcome to the Live It Right podcast, hosted by John and Caitlin Lindsay. We're going to be talking all things health and wellness, from food, fitness, relationships. So if you want to live your best life and live it right, join us for this conversation.
So whether you're a health enthusiast, a busy professional, or someone looking to achieve a more fulfilling life, you're in the right place. Tune in, subscribe, and join our community as we explore the path to living it right.
Let's go.
All right, welcome back to the Live It Right podcast. We are on episode 5. We had a little interview style for the last 2, but today we are going to dive into something we get a lot of questions about, and it is our morning and evening routines.
That's right.
So I'm going to let John kick things off.
So I'm more of an evening routine person, and I like to say that a good evening routine for me is my morning routine because, if my evening routine is dialed, I'm up, I'm ready to freaking go. And just the nature of my work, I kind of need to be up and ready to go. And I've always been a morning person. That's just the nature of being a personal trainer is if you're not getting up early to work out yourself, chances are if you want to climb the ladder as a personal trainer, you're going to be training people crazy early in the morning. So 35 years old now, been getting up early to train myself or train other people since I was like 22. So been quite a while, but currently I would say our evening routine starts like 30 to 60 minutes after I get home from work. I typically get home no later than about 5 o'clock, and I have enough mental bandwidth to do 30 minutes, an hour, maybe 90 minutes of my online movement journey work. And then if you're home, if you're not at an event, you're working on the computer as well. And at that point, like 6-ish o'clock, we're typically having dinner, which I love because I'm mentally so taxed at that point. There's no way I'm doing anything else productive.
But this is something that's newer for us. We were eating later.
True.
This is new.
This piece of it is a little new, but it's here to stay for sure.
Oh, yeah. We've kind of flip-flopped a few things, which I know he'll get to. But I do definitely like eating earlier.
Yeah, so typically, and we eat pretty fast. We're making great meals, but quick meals typically. So we're pretty much typically done eating by no later than about 6:45, even earlier most days. And then we go on a 1-mile walk just around our neighborhood, really nice. And then we come back and we sauna and we ice bath. So maybe a little unrealistic for some folks to do that, but we have the capability of doing it, which is awesome. And
anybody can take a cold shower, though.
Very true. And we end with cold. I think that's crucial in the equation there is the sauna is nice and relaxing, can read in there, have great conversation. But it's really nice to end with cold, especially right now. We're in the thick of the summer and we both run hot. So cooling down your core body temperature, whether it's in an ice bath or a cold shower, I think helps get you ready for bed a ton. So yeah, we're typically out of that 7:30-ish at the latest usually. And then I love eating the dinner early because we do all the cleanup before that walk and no more cleanup to do, no more responsibilities essentially. And there's less temptation to like snack too.
Well, I like the digestion piece of it too.
Yeah.
I feel like it's nice to walk after dinner to let our food digest as well.
It's like the old school thing your parents used to say, kitchen's closed. So,
really it is, because I don't want to dirty anything up again.
Yeah, once we go on that walk, it's over. So, but when we get back, we go upstairs and I typically plug my phone in. We have a pretty big bedroom, so I plug my phone in as far away from the bed as possible. And for me, mentally, that's it. Like, I am not getting on my phone again. I might check a sports score here and there, but the scrolling, the email response, like nothing's really going on my phone after I plug it in, brush teeth, and then we both typically grab our Kindles and we are chilling on the floor, stretching for 7 minutes. And that's something we added probably 3-4 months ago. And
when the cycling ramped up.
Yeah, exactly. So just feeling kind of beat up from cycling, like, we wanted to do it as a way to recover faster, but I think it also it gets you ready for bed faster.
Relaxes.
Totally, yeah. So it's physically and mentally relaxing you. So we do 7 different stretches, hold them each for 1 minute apiece, and they're all so easy. You can read your Kindle or read a book the entire time. Um, and a staple that's been in my evening routine since when I was 22 is reading a book. I think that is crucial for one, it gets you off your phone, and two, it's nice to read something that's totally outside of the realm of whatever your professional life is. So if your mind tends to wander in the evening, get it fixated on a cool story, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, and let your mind enter that realm. And you're probably, if it's a great, even if it's a great book, you're probably only going to last 20, 30 minutes. So you stretch for 7 minutes, then you get into bed. Um, I love the Kindle because, some people will say staring at blue light or whatever is bad for you. And it probably is if it's on your phone and you're just scrolling through Instagram. But a Kindle light is significantly less blue light. And you can put it on this dark mode where the letters are in white and the back of it's black, so it's so minimal light. It's actually better than reading a book and having a light on around you. um we probably read in bed for 10 minutes tops, I would say.
If I last that long.
Yeah,
Reading puts me to sleep, and that kind of alludes to, when he said the evening routine starts when he gets back from work, or when he gets home from work. It's the one thing that I've liked is it is a gradual process of disengaging from the day and preparing ourselves for sleep. It is not, we come home, we eat, we're having really in-depth conversations, and all of a sudden we're going to bed. It really allows our body to transition.
Yeah, I never thought about it like that, but that's totally, totally true.
And
Yeah.
for me, I struggle with my brain shutting off. This has actually helped. I mean, I'm the kind of person that used to have to sleep with a notepad next to me because I'd wake up in the middle of the night with ideas and thoughts. This actually really takes my brain, I don't know if it affects you the same way, but really allows my brain to slowly
Turn off,
not abruptly turn off,
Yeah.
and prepare for a restful night of sleep. I have never slept better since we've started doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think especially that kind of the finishing touch there at the end, the stretching, and the reading, which we actually read a lot in the sauna as well, so it's kind of like an ongoing probably 40 minutes.
This is not nice conversations with
Sometimes it
husband
is.
and wife. Very rarely. This is John gets in there, and it is, we start decompressing immediately.
I think the stretching tells your body to say turn the body off, turn the muscles off, and the reading I think tells you, hey, turn the mind off, stop focusing on all the stuff that went on at work today, stop focusing on what you're going to do tomorrow. Because I know for me personally, I am so mentally, my ability to be creative and even respond to an email well after 7 p.m. is awful. It is so awful. So for me to, I like what you said, progress into that sleep. All right, my mind's checked out. Let me read. It's a little mentally stimulating, but it just slowly, it's just a fun story. Typically I'm reading. Just slowly eases me right into bed.
Which is probably why I don't last very long once we get in the bed.
Yeah.
So I get all my reading in before that.
Yeah. It's so funny. Even if it's an awesome book, I'm all right, I got to get 2 more pages. I will force myself to stay awake for that. But then the second you turn it off, it's just, it's donezo.
Oh, yeah.
And then 2 unique things is after done reading, we both tape our mouths and we both wear an eye mask. So this might seem ridiculous to some people. And all these things we were mentioning were slowly added over time. We've tweaked it.
Oh, yeah.
This is what we're currently doing. We really like it. But the stretching, the reading, the eye mask, and mouth tape, those are something we've been consistent with at least 2, maybe 3 years.
Well, and I know the mouth tape is very hot right now. Elaborate on that a little bit, because I think some people still don't understand the benefits of taping your mouth shut.
Yeah, so the taping your mouth is, and when I started doing this, I was a mouth breather. 100% where it was. And so taping your mouth just ensures you breathe out of your nose.
Mm-hmm.
And nasal breathing is more kind of built into your biology to be in tune with your parasympathetic nervous system, this rest and digest part of your nervous system. Whereas breathing through your mouth is more innately built into your sympathetic nervous system, this fight or flight. So if you can tell your body, if you can do the things that your biology is more in tune with, like nasal breathing while you're resting and digesting, you're going to get more out of the resting, the sleeping process. So, I mean, I can remember night one of taping my mouth was a little strange just because you think you're going to die. But
Yeah, it's
honestly, I can remember the second night or the second morning waking up and just taking these incredibly big, slow, controlled inhales and exhales and just being like, "Oh yeah, that's supposed to be like." So, I've taped my mouth for probably more than 3 years straight,
yours was
and
before this like popped off as
yeah,
something that like people were talking about. You were doing it.
shout out Brian McKenzie. He's kind of a breath expert. I went to a seminar he put on, and we went to the seminar and I asked a question. There's probably like 25, 30 of us in there. And I said, we just kind of had a little Q&A before a lunch break. And I just raised my hand and said, what are your thoughts on mouth taping? And everyone that was there was like obviously really interested in breath work. And everyone was so shocked I had never tried it before. They were like, oh my God, you've never tried it? Like,
Well,
before we left for lunch, like somebody slipped me some 3M micropore tape and be like, dude, this is like he was slipping me drugs or something. And I've done it every day since then. Like you're not going to suffocate. You're not going to,
oh no.
it might seem odd the first night, but it's a game changer. No
Well,
doubt
and
about it.
for me, mine's a little bit different. One, without, especially in allergy season, it helps your spouse because
Yeah.
my mouth breathing was like disruptive of his sleep. But beyond that, for me, and this alludes to stress as well, was grinding my teeth.
Oh yeah. I
And
forgot you had that problem.
and I
Yeah.
don't do that because my mouth tapes shut. So it was a little strange. It took me a little bit longer to get used to it, I think, than it did you. But I mean, it really helps. Especially, I mean, I see a difference.
Yeah.
I feel a difference, but and then the eye mask piece of it, which I was like, the lights are out. Like, I didn't really think it'd make a difference.
Oh.
When we woke up after like just the first night, we were like, whoa,
Yeah.
that was a game changer.
You realize there is these tiny lights. Like even
Oh,
if
yeah.
it's, there might be a little red light from an electronic. There might be, you might have your blind shut, or maybe like a crack of light,
Well,
and
you
maybe a
have-
car coming by at night. Like,
But you have a piece of tape over the fan.
yeah, the fan red light. I have a piece of tape too.
That
But I
was
mean,
before
light
you
still
started.
trickles in. Yeah,
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
and we have eye masks from a company called Dream Recovery, and what I was turned off from eye masks before is I just thought of like the typical ones you got on an airplane where they're just flush to your face.
Yeah.
But if you get one that it's slightly raised, and so it's
it has like a
off your
mold.
eyelids,
Yeah.
yeah, it's so comfortable. But I wanted to say something about the mouth tape. Oh, I think we probably both naturally sleep with our mouth closed now. But for me, it's just so part of the ritual of going to bed that it's like I'm taping my mouth. Like I just know,
Oh,
like, and the mouth tape is so inexpensive. Like I use just 3M micropore tape. You can buy like a 10-year supply of it on Amazon for like $8 or something.
Mine is a
So
little fancier.
yours is cuter, that's for sure.
Mine's pink. But it really does make a difference.
Totally,
It's,
yeah.
As he mentioned though, like this is progressive over time of us changing
Playing around with things, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Everyone's different. Everyone has different lifestyles, but like even we were just talking before we started recording. He was like, you should talk about how maybe it might be different for you on a late night.
oh yeah.
So
So I have a very consistent schedule. You don't. Well, you do probably 75% of the time, but
75%, and we're
yeah.
talking about during the week. So on nights, for example, that I if I get home past 9:30, I have to adjust
Your wake up or?
my wake up. Like I'm not getting up with him at 4. I try to stay on track of our routine, but the first thing probably to go would be the stretching. Just because most of the time my body is so beat up, which I probably should not skip the stretching. But
Your body's craving sleep though at that point. Like you don't
sleep.
need you've already mentally winded down.
Yeah. I take the cold shower. I do try and read at least a few pages if my eyes will stay open. Always mouth tape, always, with the mask. But like, I have to adjust. But that's another thing is like, I will shift and I'll sleep in a little bit if I have to.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I've learned over the years is, well, with the importance of that deep sleep, but also understanding I have to take care of my body by getting in one thing.
Yeah.
The reason,
at least 7 hours.
Part of the reason why we do this is to ensure that we're getting a full night of sleep. So that's part of the purpose of this, decompression
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, you want to put yourself to sleep and reap the benefits of a good night's sleep. I mean, I think the only thing that varies in my schedule is I might stay up for like an awesome sporting event, and it's maybe like once every other month I might do that.
If that.
And typically for me, that's so infrequent that I'll just still get up at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
But the next night I might go to bed. I might be in bed by 7 p.m. So I'm back. I'm putting sleep back in the tank as soon as possible. And then on the weekends, I'd say in the evenings we might sauna cold plunge earlier in the day, but we'll definitely we're staying up a little later typically, but we're still going to stretch, read, eye mask, mouth tape. One thing I found is, we get up so early during the week, 4 a.m., that even if we get up, I would say typically we try to get about 6:30 Saturday, Sunday, which probably still sounds pretty early to people, but that's 2.5 hours difference. And Sundays, it can be, I wouldn't say it's tough to go to bed, but we typically take a sleep aid. Like we still do our same protocol, and we'll do, what is it? Beam? I think the company is Beam, yeah, and it does have a little melatonin in it. So it's not something we'd want to take super consistently, but it's, I look at it like, okay, I want to get back to that 4 a.m. wake up. So, we take that 6:37 and go through our normal protocol, gets us to sleep faster. Boom, we're back on track. And
it's essential this time of year when the sun's still out.
Yes, totally. But yeah, that's probably the only weekends. Our schedules vary a little bit, but it's just shifted to a little bit later.
But I mean, our weekends look different than they used to. We're not staying up as late as we used to.
Yeah.
We're not. But even when, if we're out of town, if we're traveling not by ourselves, if we're traveling by ourselves, we pretty much stay on a routine. But if we're with other people at our family's house or whatever, we still do try and check as many of those boxes as we can.
Yeah.
But we are not so rigid that, we flex when we have to, but we try and check as many of those boxes as we can.
Yeah. I'll travel anywhere with my Kindle. It's just such a...
And the eye mask.
And the eye mask and the mouth tape. Yes, totally. I can't stress reading enough. Like, I think it is it's such a great sleep tool. It's such a great mental tool to get you off your phone, if you're reading fun fiction, it gets you out. It gets you thinking outside of like your busy day. If you had something crappy happen, like go read something fun and enjoyable. Like it's nice to escape from the real world before you go to sleep.
But I guess, in all of this, I'm not going to remember exactly what you said. You basically say that a good evening routine is a good morning routine.
A good evening routine is my morning routine.
Yeah. Because, and as we transition into that, because his morning routine, I'll break it down for you in about 10 seconds. Wake up, cuddle, caffeine, squat, out the door.
The door, yeah.
The moment we get up until you're out the door, what is that time frame? It's not.
I fool around on my phone a little bit. And by fool around, I check. Like I run an online business. So typically I'm checking sports scores, no doubt.
Yeah.
I'm also checking, okay, what email DMs, what do I need to respond to that's advantageous to grow my business? Because I'm about to go to my full-time job and work out before that starts. So I probably get in like 10-ish good quality minutes of personal work. But I mean, I'm typically out the door. I try to be out the door by 4:40.
And the alarm goes off at 4. So
Yeah.
that's a very short time frame. And he's still pretty structured.
Yeah.
Um, but as far as, I mean, for me, my mornings look a little bit different because I am not on a set schedule as much as he is, to where I've mentioned this in one of the previous episodes. If I do not know always when I'm going to be in like a state, like a flow state, mentally. Like if I wake up and I'm feeling creative, to be very honest, my workout happens a little bit later because I have to take advantage of that time. So
Yeah.
if it's one of those, I do. I mean, I wake up, lemon water, espresso, and then as soon as he walks out the door, I'm either prepping to go to Pilates or I am literally at the computer working, depending on like what mental state I'm in. I've also found out over the years, I love a good morning workout, but I also sometimes like I prefer, like if I'm cycling, I'm not going in the dark. So I try and take advantage of that early morning time. But to be honest with you, the basis of either working out immediately or some work and then work out is pretty much the same. But I am not quite as rigid as he is, just because I have to listen to my body and I have to listen to my, where my
You got to take
mind
advantage
is.
of opportunities of creativity. I mean, and I feel that because I'm similar on the weekends where I get up and I'm like, "Oh, I've got some good ideas." Like
Yeah.
we're kind of, I mean, part of my online business revolves around, it's creating content that takes creativity. So anytime I am like, oh, I've got some stuff flowing, let me go make some notes, let me go film some videos, you got to take advantage of it.
Because it's a hard thing to force.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I think that speaks to having a good evening routine. Like you got a solid quality night's sleep. Your body, mind is like, hey, I got some ideas for you.
What I was about to say, I mean, that is a good night's sleep. I wake up, I am not dragging. This is not a
Yeah.
whole hour and a half process. This is, like, to be honest with you, no offense to him, sometimes I'm like, get out the door, I need to lock in, because I am already, like,
Now I know. Damn.
my mindset is like ready to go, and sometimes that looks like I am literally at my computer at 4:40 when he
Yeah.
walks out the door until noon. That I am so locked in. Sometimes it's 30 minutes and I'm like, bump this. But it depends. And I actually like a little bit of the irregularity of, like, I go to Pilates 3 times a week, and then the rest of the week I'm on my own for workouts. It's not, I haven't like committed to something. I do like getting that done because I'm done working out before
Yeah.
7 a.m. But, it really is just like my schedule is up and down. My mornings take on the same routine. It might just be shifted a little bit. And that's one thing I've learned with entrepreneurship is, like, you can still have a good solid morning routine and it doesn't have to be exact every single day.
Yeah. That makes me think of something. This is nothing structured we've done. There's kind of just been different iterations of it. Is we have a little bit of positivity in the morning. Like one thing we've done in the past was writing a gratitude note. In general, we just kind of psych each other up if we know the other one has something going on. Very recently, got the book The Daily Stoic, which is just a nice word of wisdom in the morning. We had those cards too that were like,
A friend of ours, well, there's 2 of them. We got one from a group retreat, and another one, like, little marriage cards that, like, they're question prompts that just get you to
yeah, they're
chat.
nice little positivity, like mini bonding positivity things. So we've done different iterations of that, and that's always nice to be like, let's
We'll start your day off on that.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
let's be thankful for something, let's be positive, so yeah, just doing anything in the morning that's touches on a piece of gratitude, anything that really just elevates the vibe a little bit. It's a nice way for each of us to just go into our work day.
Yeah, and I like that I mean, we're feeding off of each other. That positivity in the morning really does like boost me up.
Yeah, totally.
But then also non-negotiable that we forgot to mention on the weekend, Saturday, Sunday morning, John's already talking about our morning walk before we even get out of bed.
That's
Like
true.
that is, I don't think like that you won't even get your day started until like
Yeah.
it's lemon water, caffeine, espresso or coffee, and our walk.
Yeah, love it. Love getting it. You know, you always hear those benefits of like, oh, the morning light is powerful for
It
various
is.
reasons. I think it really does just like something about it just makes you feel good. Like even if I'm at work, you know, just the nature of the gym I work in, like you do get nice visuals of the sunrise and stuff happening, and it really is just it's similar to the gratitude stuff. It just elevates the vibe a little bit. So
So I mean, this is what's worked for us.
yeah, that's kind of a lot. We threw a lot out
Yeah,
there,
I
but I
did.
would say, you know, this is what's working really, really well now. We're always trying to. I'm always interested when I hear on other podcasts what people do as an evening routine. I would say if your sleep sucks, maybe take one or two of these things we've said and try to implement it. I think the biggest thing you can do is try to go to bed at a similar time every evening.
Oh yeah.
If you're in flux, like your body's going to be all out of whack. Like try to standardize the time at least within an hour, hour and a half time frame of when you go to bed. Like that's really critical.
And then in the morning, I would say, I mean, even as I mentioned, you know, my workout may not happen right away. I do move my body right away. I'm not immediately sitting down for hours.
Yeah.
We use a stand up desk too, but just like you're talking about going to bed, move your body first thing in the morning.
Yeah,
Even
no
if
doubt.
it's just 5 minutes, you know, just make sure that you make time for that. So
Yep.
we did throw a lot, but this has been a couple years of development of what's worked, what you know, what works for us. But
Yeah, try it and try something and be consistent with it.
yeah,
Yeah, cool. So, that was episode 5. Yes,
Yeah.
episode 5 in the books. As always, rate us, rate the podcast, subscribe, all that good
oh,
stuff.
and join our email list.
Yeah, join our email
We'll be
list. We've
getting-
started the community there.
Yep.
And also, if you have any topics you'd like us to discuss, feel free to shoot them our way.
We'll start doing some Q&A.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks.